of today's meetup. And as you already know, our monthly meetup is both Fabric and Power BI. Some of us are diehard fans of Power BI, right? No matter the Fabric feature that you see, we always do Power BI. And Power BI is what started some of us' career, and now we do Fabric. So on that note, we are going to have a very wonderful session by one of our renowned Power BI developer in person of Chiamaka Igwe. I've known Chiamaka now for close to 5 years. Yeah. So, but then we are honored to have you here this morning, Chiamaka, to lead our second session for this monthly meetup. And she's going to be walking us through the Tabular editor in Power BI. There are a lot of new features that are being shipped nowadays that if you are not careful, you are probably just catching your breath to catch up on all of them. But coming to monthly meetup is an avenue for us to actually catch up on those. So today, we have the pleasure of welcoming Chiamaka to take us through Tabular Editor in Power BI. Chiamaka, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm fine, Francis. How are you?
Yeah, good. So good to see you. So over to you. So you can start now.
All right. So let me start sharing my screen. Good morning, everyone. Let me know if you can see my screen, please.
Yeah, your screen is up.
All right. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Just like Francis said, we are going to be looking at how to start using Tabular Editor in Power BI. A lot of us, especially beginners, they only know about Power BI. They don't know about external tools that can help you with your development process. So that is why we are going to be looking at Tabular Editor. And my name is Chiamaka Igwe. I'm a Power BI consultant, data analyst, Microsoft certified trainer, and as well as a content creator across social media. So I look forward to connecting with every one of you. You can ask your questions afterwards. So what is Tabular Editor? Like I said, this is one of the external tools used in Power BI, as well as SQL Server Analysis Services and Azure Analysis Services. You can use this to edit your model, update your model, and improve your model structure. It's the major reason most people use this particular external tool, that is Tabular Editor, is because of speed. And the reason it's able to give you that speed of edit is because of the fact that it is not going to be working with your data. It is only going to be working with your metadata. You find out that most times when you are trying to just update a little thing in Power BI, you find out that you encounter lag and all of that. But with Tabular Editor connected, if you make the edit on Tabular Editor, that is faster. There are two versions of Tabular Editor currently available. The first one is version 2, which is actually a free and open source version with this symbol. Whenever you see the symbol, this is for version 2. And we have Tabular Editor 3. This is a paid version. It has the symbol as well, and it's an enterprise grade of Tabular Editor. Why use Tabular Editor? As most of us are Power BI developers, you must have seen this symbol. Whenever you want to just write a simple DAX measure, it will write working on it. And this can be really annoying if you are working with a very large data model with multiple tables and you want to quickly edit something and you keep seeing this working on it. So this is when you use Tabular Editor to just make that changes. And if you're able to just use it and connect to it, you're not going to see this working on it feature on it. The change is quickly and you can see the change immediately because you're working with just the metadata and not the underlying data. So we have the fact that you can do your bulk renaming, bulk hiding. These are features that you might not be able to see in the normal Power BI desktop. You can reorder, format your columns in seconds without having to deal with working on it. Then also you can use it to write your code as well. You can use it to write your DAX measure, and you can also use it to understand your DAX measure, especially if you are working with a legacy report, you're a new data analyst in a new company and you're giving a Power BI report developed by somebody probably like 5 years ago and you want to understand it. You can use Tabular Editor to understand how the DAX is written and all of that. Next is automation at a scale. So right now, before we even have AI and all of that, we actually used to use, and we still use also, Tabular Editor for automation. You have the ability to write C# automation to automate all your repetitive tasks that you are supposed to do within your model. For example, you can use it to automate renaming all columns. You can use it to automate formatting all the measures present, especially if you are working with a large data model in this case, where you have more than 50 measures there and you just want to format everything so that it will be readable. You can automate it to format that for you using C#. An interesting thing right now, because of the fact that we have AI, you don't know how to write C# code. I don't know how to write C# code. I can actually describe what I want to do, and ChatGPT or Claude AI can actually help me to write the C# code that I can use to run this. Then the next part is built-in data governance. Within Tabular Editor, there are features that can help you to ensure data privacy and ensure that you are also maintaining best practices. The first one is the best practice analyzer. This one will go through all your data model, all the tables in your data model, all your columns in your data model, and tell you the columns that are not formatted well, or even your data model. If it is not star schema, it will highlight that it is not star schema for you to know. And this is very good, especially when you're working with a Power BI report that you were not the one that developed it. So in order to understand it and to understand the issues that you're having within this report, this built-in best practice analyzer will highlight all those issues for you and give you ability to correct these issues, and how it will also give you description of these issues and how you can correct these issues. Also, you have the ability to create perspectives. Within Power BI, we have this personalized view feature where the end user can actually personalize the visual that they want. Some end users prefer, probably they don't want a line chart, they want like a column chart or something. So they have the ability to personalize that. And in order for you to ensure that when they are trying to explore that personalized visual ability, they are not looking at the columns they are not supposed to look at, you can use perspective to set this up. So we're going to look at how all these things come about within the Tabular Editor during the demo session. So like I said earlier, there are two versions, the version 2 and version 3. So more detailed comparison between the two. Version 2 is free and open source. You can use it. A lot of Power BI developers actually even use version 2. It's actually people that want to do more sophisticated things that do use version 3. But to start up, you can use version 2, which is free. Then both of them have that editor. But the thing is that version 2 is just basic. You don't have the IntelliSense and debugger. You can find that only in version 3. Then also C# scripting. They are both supported, both the version 1 and version 2. Then best practice analyzer, both included in the version 1 and 2. The model diagram, just like you have the model view in Power BI, you are now able to see the relationship in diagrammatic format in version 2, but that is present in version 3. Then version 2, of course, for beginners, I advise you to just start with version 2, explore it, and you find out that you might even end up keep using version 2 without any need for version 3 going forward. Then let's move forward. So right now, we are going to just jump right into the demo session. And in order to download this, you can either download from the official website of Tabular Editor, www.tabulareditor.com/download, or sqlbi.com. Those are two places that you can get Tabular Editor. So let's look at the Tabular Editor from the official website. So this is it here. If you want to install this in your system, by default, because they are trying to push version 3 in order to make money, you will not see the version 2 here. You will need to drop down this, scroll down, and you see the version 2 open source. Then click on this, click on it again. It opens up a GitHub page. This is the GitHub page of the CTO of Tabular Editor, and you can install the MSI installer. This GitHub page is very important too, because there are other features that you can get from this. For instance, when you go over to this part, you have, I mentioned earlier that you can use C# automation within Tabular Editor. So these are examples of some scripts that you can easily copy and paste into your Tabular Editor to run what you want to do if you have a common issue. That is one. So you can download from this particular part as well. Also within this official Tabular Editor website, there are other features here that can help you as a beginner. You have the resource section where you have your blog, upcoming demand events, Tabular Editor Learn. So this particular part is a free training on Tabular Editor, and although it's majorly focused on Tabular Editor 3, they're trying to push that, but you can use that to learn more about this particular tool. Then also you have the community support and documentation. In case you have any issues, you can join people on GitHub and talk about your issues. Then the second way for you to download this is from sqlbi.com. The reason I opened this is because of the fact that SQLBI is a particular website I've been using ever since I started Power BI and data analysis. It has other tools that can help in your development process. You have Bravo, Dash Studio, and all. So you can just click on Tabular Editor here. And the guys in SQLBI, they always ensure that they update this with the latest version of Tabular Editor. You have here the version 2.28, and this was published in March 2026. So in order to download, you don't necessarily need to type in your email, except you want to be receiving newsletter from these guys. Then you can just uncheck these two parts and just click on download. You will download the same MSI installer. And when you have downloaded this, you can now just install it like a normal app, just like the way you install your Power BI. Let me go back to this part. All right. So when you have installed this, there are two ways that you can open Tabular Editor. The first one is by clicking on the symbol, the Tabular Editor symbol, and it opens up this way. The reason I'm going to be showing these two ways is because of the fact that sometimes the second way doesn't work. So you have options. So the first part is this. When you open it up, this is the first page you're going to see, and you need to connect to Power BI. So for this particular session, we're only focusing on Power BI, not SSIS and others. So you can click on this part. And if you have the server, if you are connecting to SSIS, this is where you enter the server. But because we are connecting to just Power BI desktop, we are going to use a local instance, and you ensure that the particular Power BI report you want to work with is already opened in the background. As you can see, I have this regional sales report here. Connect to it and click OK. And it automatically connects to show everything here. So let me close this and show you the second way to open this up, which is within your Power BI desktop. Within Power BI desktop, this is the report in question, and we have the external tools, and all your external tools show here. But there are some cases when you download Tabular Editor newly, it might not show here. So you can open it using the first method that I showed. Then you can just click on this Tabular Editor, and it automatically opens up this part, right? Connected. You don't need to connect anymore. So this is the first part that you're going to see. And of course, like every other, most tools actually, when you click on this file, you can see your save as save and all of that here. Then this is, I will just show you what the features that you need to get started, not everything yet. So the data sources, in this case, because I'm just opening Power BI desktop, it is not connected to the data source. We are just working on the metadata. Next is the perspective. I don't have any perspective yet, but if I create any, it's going to show here. Then relationship. This will show the relationship within the data model. And it's just like this because I'm using version 2, so it's not in diagram format. It's just this way. When you click on any relationship, it gives you the information regarding that relationship here, the one direction and all of that, and the particular from which column and to which column over here. Then the rows, if you have any rows set up within your Power BI desktop file, all of them are listed here. You can actually work on that. Then shared expression. Over here, if you have any stored DAX measure or something, any stored DAX measure, it shows here. Then over here, I have the table. You can right click and import table, create new table, calculated table or calculated group. You can expand this to see the tables already existing. These are the tables I have in my data model, the orders, the date table, the returns and users. You can see the symbol that my date table is actually a calculated table with this symbol. When you expand a particular table, let's expand orders, for instance. I have this first partition. So you will see any partition that you've created. For instance, if you're trying to do incremental refresh, if you created any partition within a particular table, the partition shows here. Then automatically in a table, it's arranged first, measures first, and your columns later. Notwithstanding the arrangements in Power BI, if I open this report, let me open this side by side so that we can be comparing the two. You can see that the measures within my report are actually not arranged the way they are here. But by default, when you open this, it shows you all the measures first, then the columns. When I click on sales measure, for instance, it tells me everything about that measure. It has a description, it shows here, display folder, if it is in a particular folder, it shows here, the format string, that is the format of the measure, it shows here. Then this shows if it is hidden or not. Right now, it is not hidden, that is false. If I want to hide it, I will change this to true. Then the name and other things down here. Then if I click on a column, for instance, it tells me everything about that column. Let's look at this particular column in my date table, the month name in particular. So right now it's showing me that it's not hidden, the name and everything. And it's telling me the particular column that is sort by. So it gives you more information regarding the particular column, detailed information and everything. So the next one now is the translation. Right now, you have English translation. If you have other languages, they all show here. So let's get right into it, how you can use this to edit, update, or structure your data model. The first thing that we are going to do is to write DAX. Like I said, you can be able to write DAX measure with this, but the limitation of version 2 is that there is no IntelliSense or debugger. So in order to use Tabular Editor version 2 to write your DAX, you actually need to know what you're writing. If you don't know what you're writing and how to write it very well, I advise you to actually write the DAX in Power BI desktop and then continue everything here. So let's look at other table. If I want to write that, I have the expression editor part. I'll just right click on the table that I want the measure to be in, create new, you can create new measure, calculated column, hierarchy, and all. So new measure in this case, this is just a sales table. If I want to write that on total number of customers, for instance, I have this here. I can rename this particular DAX to be total customers. You can see here is equal to, which is your normal distinct count. I want to just count the number of customer ID, the distinct count of it. So you can just start writing the way you do. Orders table. And customer ID. Click enter. Then in order to save this, for it to take effect on this particular model that I have open here, you need to click on this save button to deploy. When I click on it, you can see the symbol here. This is telling me that the code that I wrote is wrong. And this is because I missed the parenthesis here. And within Power BI, you can automatically see it here that I'm trying to write total number of customers and this code is wrong as well. So I can just add the parentheses that I missed and click enter and click save. Control S actually. So all your shortcuts actually works here. Your Control S to save, your Control C to copy, Control P to paste, and Control V to paste, and Control Z to undo. So I can just click on save here. Right now I have this without any icon, and over here you can see that I have the DAX here automatically. You can see that you don't have any working on it because I'm only working on the metadata and not the underlying data. So imagine if you're working on a large data model that you want to just create measure sharp without that working on it. You can create multiple things and reduce your development time drastically. So the next thing that we're going to look at is how to format DAX. You can use this to format your DAX as well. Yes, I think last year or last 2 years within Power BI, we now have DAX query view where you can as well format your DAX using the DAX formatter and all to improve readability. But before that, we have always had that within Tabular editor, and it has been helping. So within here, you have these two options, the long line and the short line. The long line, which is the default one, when I click on that to format this sales year-on-year measure that I have, you can see that it made it this way. Let me expand it. It's longer on the horizontal side of things. Then the short line actually will increase the length on the vertical side of things. This is the way it looks. Right, so you can easily format your DAX using this as well. Another feature that I like in this is the fact that you can copy, but before we copy, you can see the symbol. This symbol is actually showing you that this particular change has not been effected. Do I want to deploy it? If you hover on it, you will get that information. You need to deploy this to validate. So in order to deploy, it's just for me to change. And when I save, and when I save this is my sales year-on-year measure over here. It automatically picks that up. And it's now well formatted immediately. So that is one. Another feature that it has is the fact that you can easily copy your measure. Within Power BI, if I right click, if I want to copy a particular measure, for instance, this sales year-on-year, assuming I want to create more of that, we encounter this where you want to create profit year-on-year. If you have a lot of base measures like total profit, total sales, total cost, and you want to create profit year-on-year, cost year-on-year, and you just want to duplicate and all. When I right click on this, there's no option for you to duplicate this particular one and create something. The only option that you have is to go in here, copy, paste, and all of that. But within Tabular editor, when I right click on this, I have option to duplicate. I can click on duplicate and automatically it creates a copy. Another way to duplicate is just to click on it, Control C and Control V. It creates another copy. About this particular one, if I use the shortcut, it just gives me one. Do you get? And they are the same thing. I can easily use that to create another measure that I need. So let me just delete this particular one. I only need one in this case, which is this. I want to use this for total profit. And over here, I need to change this as well. Then rename it here as profit. Total profit year-on-year. So what is wrong with me and caps lock? All right. You can also rename here by just double clicking on it and renaming on this side. So these are two ways of renaming. Either you rename it here or you rename it over here. Another thing that you can do with this is to actually do bulk formatting. What do I mean by that? Within my report, let me open up a build and open up a new page. I want to just have my card on this and I want to show my total sales and total profits. This is total profit. All right. So within here, you can see that they are not formatted to currency, that are currently whole number. And within Power BI, if you want to format total sales, for instance, and total profit, you will need to just come over to this part. And even if you have multiple measures like that, total cost and average price and everything, if you want to format them to currency, you need to come over here, go over to this part like that, one after the other. There is no option to bulk format this. But within Tabular Editor, you can easily do this. Here I have total sales, right? Let me also save this so that this can be affected, the total profit aspect of things. The profit year on year. So we have it here immediately, profit year on year. So here, if I want to format like total sales and total profits immediately, I don't need to click on them one after the other. I can just click on total profit, hold down the control key, select total sales. If I have other measures that I want to change to currency format, total cost and everything, I can just select all of them, go over to this format string, change that to the format that I want. I want it to be currency 0.00, enter. And I'll resave this. So look over on this side. You can see automatically they have been formatted. So imagine the time that you have reduced in developing this particular report. If you have other multiple ones, you can just do all of them at once without doing everything one after the other. And when you click one after the other, you see that working on it sign that is really, really annoying. Then the next thing that you can do on this particular Tabular editor tool is to group your measures. Yes, you can also do that within the model view. If I want to group these measures, I can select them and highlight and all. You can also do that within Tabular editor. So I want to group all my measures into a folder because within here, you can see they are all scattered. And if I want to hand over this report, I want this to be well arranged so that whoever that is going to be using it is going to see the measures immediately. So I can just click on sales, hold down the shift key to select all my measures. Right click, create new display folder. And what is the name of the folder in this case? I want it to be underscore key measures. Then save this. Automatically, this has been effected here. You can see the key measures in here. And you can still create nested folder within these measures. So now that I have some measures on profits, some measures on sales, if I want to still arrange this folder, I can just highlight the sales aspect of things, sales, hold down the control key to select the next one. Then where I have the display folder here, write backslash and label this sales. Then you can see automatically I have a nested folder. For profits, I can just highlight everything related to profits, add a backslash here, and label this profit. Then I will save. When I save this and go over to Power BI side of things, I have the nested folders within here automatically. The next thing I can do here within Tabular Editor is to understand my measures. Like I mentioned earlier, Tabular Editor can help you to understand a report that you did not develop. You can easily understand what is going on with this particular tool. So one way of doing that is to look at what the measures are dependent on. Imagine you're working on optimizing a particular model, probably deleting a column in order to reduce the size or deleting things that are not in use. In order to know which things are actually not in use, you can use this particular tool. Over here that I have my sales year on year, assuming I have a measure that has multiple rows. And in this case, I'm seeing a branched measure within here, which is sales, appearing multiple times. And I want to know what this particular sales, total sales measure is. What makes this up? I can click on this one and click on this particular arrow. This takes me to the underlying table, underlying measure that total sales is equal to automatically. Another way for you to understand dependency of measure, actually, you can click on a measure and right click on it, show dependency. This will open up another view. I'll drag this view into here. It first of all shows you objects on which this particular measure depends on to understand the origin of that measure and hierarchy. You can see that this measure is dependent on my date table. So I know I'm not going to delete this table. And I can see that it's dependent on the column date in my date table. So I know that I'm not going to be deleting this column date in my date table. You can also see it's dependent on order table and column sales in orders table. So I know I'm not going to be deleting this. You can understand the origin of the measure. And this is very nice if you have a complex DAX in some cases and a large data model. It shows you also object that depends on this. Right now, we don't have object that depends on this. And when you hover, you can actually see the whole measure here. You can also see this in my table. So there is also for an avenue for you to understand table dependencies. When I right click on this and show dependencies, for instance, it will open up that same window, show object on which this depends on none, show object that depends on this. You can see all these measures are dependent on this orders table. So you don't need to delete this if you're trying to optimize this model. You know that all these measures are dependent on this. And then show relationship of this. It automatically shows you the relationship that are dependent on this particular orders table, the type of relationship, one to many, many to one, and the likes of it. To also show you an active relationship. Right now, I don't have any inactive relationship here, but if there's an inactive relationship, I toggle this on to also show me the ones that are inactive. Next thing that you can actually do with this is to hide measures, bulk hiding measures and columns. If there are columns and measures, for instance, that you don't want to be visible in the report view, this is our report view. You want them to be visible in the table view, but you don't want them to be visible in the report view. And you can do bulk hiding. Over here in Power BI, if I want to hide this column, for instance, I can just do that one after the other, hide. And if I want to hide this, I need to select them one after the other to hide them. But within here, if I want to hide some columns, for instance, if I want to hide, I have city and postal code. I don't want to use them in this analysis, for instance. I can just hold down the control key and be selecting things I want to hide. If I want to hide product subcategory, for instance, for these three things, I'll just select all of them, go over to where I have hidden, change this from false to true. You can see that their colors have changed to show that this is hidden. And if I save this, over here, okay, where is this hanging? So now you can see that they are hidden, like the product, this particular one, as well as the city. Automatically, you've hidden them together. Then the next thing that we are going to actually look at, like I mentioned here earlier, is the C# scripting. This is a way for you to automate some repetitive tasks within your data model. Yes, we now have the ability to do that with MCP server, Power BI, but you agree with me with the current pepper that Claude is showing everybody with session limits here and there. You need a backup plan. And this is where C# scripting comes in. And like I said earlier, the GitHub page that I showed earlier, the script part, you can always go there and copy script. I don't know how to write C# script. So you can just use your LLM, explain to it what you want it to do. You want it to rename, you want it to format something for, just explain in details. And within here, you can save your C# scripts. So over here, I have some examples. Yeah, over here in my macro, I have these three. These two, I copied them, but this third one, I created the third one with LLM. So let's look at what the format measure does. this first one, you can see that it formats all measures. So this is very handy, especially if you're working with a large data model, a legacy model that you did not create, that you inherited. You want to understand all the measures at once. You agree with me that most people, as they're writing that, they don't like formatting. So you can just run this script. It will look through all the DAX measure that is existing within this particular report and format them. But in this case, it's going to format them to the default format that we have here, which is the long format. So right now for this simulation, because of the fact that I showed this in short format, short line. So the way that you're going to know that this actually worked is that this is going to change. And the second one that I duplicated, this also is going to change. They're both going to change to the default one, which is a long line. So let's go over to this part. So the major thing that works here is for each stuff over here. This is the thing that controls the format all measure stuff, all measure C# script. So I'm going to run this. To run this, you just need to click on run script. And as you can see over here, you all have these symbols down here to show you that it went through all of my measures I have. But the reason that you will not see any change on these ones, they are basically one-line codes. The ones that changed immediately are these ones. It formatted them to the long format. They were initially in short to show you that this will work. So no matter how many measures you have within your report, and if Cloud is showing you Pepper, you just need to format something automatically. You can use C# script to just format everything. So in order to deploy this, over here in my Power BI report, we still have the long form. You can see that we still have the long form here. So let me deploy this immediately to my report. You can see automatically it has taken effect on this one, as well as the profit aspect of things. This is the profit on here. They are both in the long format. Then another C# script that I want to show you guys is the short date. This is the one that I had to write myself because of the fact that it has really helped me. I've encountered such issue. So imagine you have your drill through table, you've set up a Power BI report, and you have like a drill through page that you want viewers to go from the overview page to this page to get the details, or probably the table of the data. So imagine you have a table in here and you have your order ID, and you have the ship date, the order date, and you also have, let me just add this third date I have here in my data, third date. This is very handy, especially for people working with data set that has multiple dates, such as project data or probably HSC data. So you can see that most times by default, whenever you have dates, different dates in different table in Power BI, you see one in long, this very long one that is always default most times. And you can see this particular one is month, day, and year. This one is day, month, and year. And I'm currently in Nigeria. And if I'm working with a data set within Nigeria client, it's expected that we have the date format to be in day, month, and year. So right now, that is the reason I created this particular code. And what the code is actually going to do is to go through all my tables in my data model, all of them one after the other. If you encounter anything that contains year, and all of that, and long date and everything, convert all of them to day, month, and year across board. That is what this particular code will do. If you want to really understand the code, you can just paste it on your LLM. You don't expect me to explain this other part. Like I said, I don't know C#. So that is what this particular code is going to do for you, which in my case is going to go through date, ship date, order date, and convert everything to day, month, and year where it does not exist. So I'll run this. You can see that order date was this, and it has converted it to day, month, and year. This was day, month, and year. It left it that way. This was long date. It's converted to day, month, and year. Then click OK, and then commit, you can see automatically it has changed everything. So imagine if you have multiple dates across multiple pages in your reports already, this code can easily change everything for you all at once. Then the final one that I have is to clean names. And for this particular code, if you want to add your own code, you can actually, I'll copy this from this on I have my notepad open here. You can just clear the canvas that you have, because I already saved this anyway. So I will paste this particular one, which is to clean names. And if I want to save it, I can click on this add button to save it, so I can always reuse it whenever I want. This opens up a new page for you, and you can just rename it here and just click OK for you to save it. I'm not going to save it. I already have it in my own stuff. So let me close this part. So what this does is that this particular code, like I said, I copied this one from that particular GitHub page by Darren Gosbell. What it does is that it checks all the names of your columns. And this works also if you're working with a legacy report where the naming convention is not consistent. As you can see here, we have product underscore container here. You have ship mode. This is in camel case. You have, I think these are the two ones that I can actually see. So we're going to use these two to actually find out if this is working the way it's supposed to. So what it's going to do is that it's going to break them apart and ensure there is space within them. And this is going to be handy when you are building your visuals. Instead of building your visuals and editing the column name, the category names and all of that. So it's going to, before, this is the way it looks, or with an underscore, but after it's going to split this. And this is the remaining part of the code, right? If there is underscore within here, if there is underscore, if there is hyphen, remove that and just give me space. This is what this code is going to be doing. So we will look at the product container as well as my ship mode. So when I run this, I have errors. Compile. Oh, okay. I have this particular error here. Let me just run the one that I saved. Probably I've typed something within here that I'm not supposed to use. So let me just run the one clean names. It's still this particular one. I'll just click on run. You can see that the ship mode has been splitted. There is not space between the ship and the mode. Then product underscore container, automatically the underscore has been removed. So if I have any other one similar to this, it's going to automatically just show me the proper case of that particular column name and even your measure as well. So this really, really helps, especially now, like I said, Claude is showing us Pepper. You can actually do this with MCP server, but this is another option that you can actually use. So that is that for the automation. The now interesting part again that I want to show you here is the best practices best practice analyzer, which is the data governance feature within here. You can see this part that I have 94 BP issues. When I click on this, this opens up a new page for me, known as the best practice analyzer. Like I mentioned earlier, it highlights all the issues in your reports, especially if you have a legacy report that you don't know where to start from. And it categorizes that issue, the performance issue, maintenance issue, naming convention issue, formatting issues, and ranks them by severity. 1 is highly severe and 3 is least. So if you look at this first one, for instance, when I open this up, it shows you the column or the measure that is affected. In this case, I have orders, discount column, unit price, shipping cost. And when I hover, it tells me what that particular rule is about. The double floating point data point should be avoided. as it can result in unpredictable roundoff and decreased performance in certain scenarios. That you need to use either int 64 integer or decimal where appropriate. So let's look at the reason that you can click on the particular column. In this case, let me just adjust this to this end and this particular one here and drag this here. So I have discount. This is discount. So it's telling me that I have floating point decimal number, that I should convert this basically to a fixed decimal. So in order to be able to fix this issue, you can right click on this. You can either go to the object. When I click on this, it will tell me that particular object. When I click on this, it takes me to discount, but I'm already on discount anyway. Then I can ignore item. If you feel that it highlighted something that you still want to work with, you can ignore item and you can apply fix. Applying fix is for you to fix it for you. So it's automatically prompted to do that. So when I click on apply fix for this one, you can see that it has automatically changed this to a fixed decimal and currency format, which of course discount is supposed to be currency or fixed decimal. Then unit price, if I don't want to apply this, I can ignore item. When I click on ignore item, it removes that from the particular stock. And you can see down here that it is reducing the number of violations. So when you do this for all your best practice stuff, you find out at the end of the day, your data model is well structured and it's complied with best practices. You also have here remove unnecessary columns. The reason it's flagged this particular three, remember that we hid these three columns initially and they're currently hidden. So it's giving me suggestion that these columns are not used in anything. The best thing to do in this particular case is to hide them, which is the right thing to do. But for this is just for demonstration purpose and all, and I can actually apply fix if I want to for all of them and to remove them. And once I've applied fix for the three, you find out that it will remove that particular one. You can see now that I only have 85 object violations. So you might wonder how these rules are set up and can I edit these rules? Yes, you can edit these rules. And you can also show the ones that you've ignored. If you want to go back to them, show ignored, you can see the ones that are ignored and go back again. But you can also manage these rules. When I click on this manage rule, it opens up this particular pane and I have effective rules. So these are all the rules that are by default. All my data model is going to go through all these rules by default. And these are already created by the guys that created Tabular Editor because they found that this is best free. But in case you have within your organization that you want to edit some things, you can edit these rules. When I click on this particular rule, for instance, I can click on edit rule. It opens up a new page and you can see what the rule is about and you can edit it based on your taste and all. You can edit the description. If you feel that this description is confusing people, you want to make it simpler, you can edit the descriptions and just click OK. That is one good feature of best practice analyzer. And you find that at the end of the day, by the time I click on all of these and follow the rule that it tells me, probably ignores what I want to ignore, you find that at the end of the day, my data model is much more okay. Interestingly, if you have a data model that is not star schema, it automatically flags it here for you. So you don't even need to start looking through, oh, is this star schema or not? It automatically tells you that this is not star schema, that this is snowflake schema, that you need to work on this and all. So that's one good use of best practice analyzer. So the final thing I'm going to be showing in this demo is the second data governance aspect of things, which is creating perspective, which I highlighted here initially, perspective. So right now we don't have any, but before we look into perspective, let's go over to normal Power BI and set a part. So like I mentioned earlier, within Power BI, users have the ability to actually personalize the visuals that they want to see. You can set this up for them. There are some users that might prefer, I have like a trend of sale, for instance. Some users might want to see this on a column chart, but they only want to see it on their own view. When I set my personalized views, they will only see it on their own view, but the rest of the company will be seeing this area chart that I have created. So to set this up, you need to go to File, Options and Settings, Options, scroll down to Current File. So we have Report Settings here. Then Personalized Visuals. Allow report readers to personalize visuals to suit their need. So when I toggle this, click OK. This automatically shows me this symbol. This visual can be personalized. So even if I have multiple visuals, you can set personalized visuals per visual. If I don't want viewers, if I have like a table, for instance, I can set this. Let me copy this table inside here. I can set on each individual visual for my users to personalize. So for this one now, I can just go over to this personalize and turn the icon off. I don't want them to personalize this visual, but over here, I want them to personalize this particular one. I don't want them to do this. I will just need to publish this so that I can demonstrate this folder. Save. I want to publish to this workspace. So I've saved it there, then open up the report in that workspace. So I have these two visuals, and you can see that the personalized visual is here. So I'm viewing this like the normal viewer of this particular workspace. And when I click on this to personalize this one, it opens up this particular window for me. I can change this from, I don't want to see an area chart. I can change this to a column chart, for instance. So this is only going to be occurring on my own screen. Every other person in the company will be seeing area chart, right? Then also, if I don't want to see product category, which is my legend in this case, if I want to see customer segments, I can change this to customer segments. For me personally, every other person can still be seeing the product category. But the interesting thing here is that you can see over here on this window that when the user is actually trying to personalize, the user is actually seeing every other column within here. And if you are working with a very sensitive data, personal information, date of birth data, for instance, you want to like control what the user actually views on this particular page. So in order to be able to achieve that, you can create perspective using Tabular Editor. So let's go over to Tabular Editor to create perspective. So I have Tabular Editor here. Go over to my perspective, right click, new perspective. I want this to be for others. Then go over to my others table. What columns do I want to put in my perspective? In this case, I want to add my product category. So showing perspective, showing my others perspective. I want to add customer segments, showing perspective, others perspective. I want to show probably my state or province, showing that perspective, other perspective. So let's just look at these three columns. So when I click on this, I have a new perspective in here, right? So I'll resave this. When you save, within Power BI, for some reason, I will need to close this and reopen again. I don't know why, even if I refresh, it will not show in here. So I'll need to close and reopen. So now we have this here. To see the perspective that we've created, just click on the canvas, click on format, ensure that you're clicking on the canvas, then format, go over to personalized visual over here. You have default fields. So right now we have model, and this is the perspective that we just created. When I select model, it means the person is going to see everything. When I select this other perspective that I created, the person is only going to see the columns I've added within that other perspective. So now I've selected this, I will republish again. Save my workspace. Replace. Then open it up again. Let me just close this one. So I'll have just one. All right, so we still have the personalized visual aspect of things. So in this case, now if I want to add a new, you can see that I am only using the others perspective, and I'm only seeing 3 columns here instead of all the columns. And you have actually enforced that data governance, and people are actually seeing what they are supposed to see and not everything within the company. So let's just go back to my slide. So the final thing, actually, you need to get started. Start using Tabular Editor. It's a very good tool. What's going on? Okay. All right. So start using Tabular Editor. You can try the demos that are actually created here, and you can also take the free training that you have. All right. Thank you, everyone. Time for questions. Stop sharing. So if you have any question, hi, Suleiman.
Hi, thank you so much. That was a very educative session. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so first question, are we getting access to this recording, please?
Francis has recorded it.
Yes,
So
yes,
I'll
yes.
give Francis.
It will be uploaded on the community YouTube channel.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Secondly, I have a question in the chat. Can you apply bulk fix when using the best practice analysis?
Can you apply what? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Can you apply bulk fix when you're talking about the best practice analyzer, right? I can see a lot of issues flagged by that. So I was saying if it's multi-select, yeah, okay.
No, it's basically just single kind of at once.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Thank you.
wants you to go through all of them to actually see what is going on before you apply the fix. Yeah.
All right, thank you. And then also on the C# script, does it only support C#, no Python or some other language?
It's just C#. It's stated there on that particular store. C# script. It's just C#, not Python. If you want to use Python at all, you go through your MCP server. If Claude allows you with your limits. Okay.
All right, I feel like
Olayemi, right?
yeah, sorry, I'll just answer the person that mentioned if she can do Python. I feel like if you know how to write Python, you can write the script in Python and switch it to C#. It's very this. So just give it to whatever, and yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Olayemi.
All right. Thank you so much, Chiamaka. That was such a wonderful session, and we do appreciate you coming to take this session. So, guys, there's a feedback form drop in the chat for us to help us improve. So, we appreciate if you can take your time to actually give us this feedback, and then that will help us going forward. So let me thank you so much, guys, for coming to this month. And let me just stop this recording now, and then we can get to orders of business.
Okay.
Yeah, the first session.
Yeah, I come.
Who is this guy?